because I can't seem to get information from anyone, is by what right the town of East Hampton can the government that exists there can claim any rights over Montauk. You know, because I don't understand how it happened that a new government came in, pushed aside the town trustees, took control of the land, and even though the town trustees had no control over Montauk, the new government took control over Montauk. I want to know the legal basis for that claim. All right, so what I'm attempting to do is to discover that. Now, according to statute, they're in violation of statute, because this has been filed for over a month now, and I've received no response. You know, I haven't even received recognition that they have received this. Now, some of the backlash from this, I think, is what you're seeing with the town trustees' manifesto. Okay, what they discovered when they tried, I believe what they discovered when they tried to answer this Freedom of Information request is that my suspicions are correct. That the town of East Hampton has no lawful claim to the bottomlands, foreshores, and harbors in Montauk. Those rights accrue to the freeholders of Montauk. Freeholders are the landowners. And when I incorporated the Montauk Friends of Olmsted Parks, I incorporated a corporation, a democratic corporation, assembly-based, of the landowners. Now I'm running short on time, so I'm going to go through Montauk very quickly. So this is the important part, people. So now listen to this and listen to it closely. The other part was good, but this is even better. Montauk. As mentioned earlier, which one am I on, that one? Okay. As mentioned earlier, Montauk was included in the Dongan Patent of 1686. It had been acquired over the years from the Montauk tribe of Indians. The various interests among the different owners were grouped into one shareholders' corporation in 1748, based upon the amount invested in the purchases of the lands from the Indians. The shareholders exercised their rights as tenants in common. They owned it together like a corporation. They owned shares in the corporation, even though it wasn't vested in the title, controlled the land. Until 1851, the usage of the lands by the shareholders was administered by the town trustees in accordance to the conditions set forth in the deeds and agreements with the Indians and the equitable rules which they had established. And after every meeting of the town trustees, okay, there was a separate meeting by the Montauk trustees, and after that meeting they would decide whether to allow the town trustees to continue to administer their land over the upcoming year, or whether they would take control themselves, and at certain times they did take control of Montauk themselves. But in the year 1851, however, in the case of Henry P. Hedges and others, the proprietors of Montauk versus the trustees of the freeholders in commonalty of East Hampton, it was ordered by the court that the town of East Hampton give up all claim into and over the lands at Montauk to the proprietors. Now remember, the government was established based on the claim of being the proprietors of the lands to the Indians. This deed was issued March 9th, 1852. It's right here. It's recorded at Liber 63 of Deeds, page 171. Okay, and it actually sets forth within it the history of the lawsuit that led to the transfer of the title, this transfer of title. When that happened, okay, when that title transferred, Montauk had no government. The town trustees, which were the government, had no ability to have any control over Montauk. So less than 1 month later, on April 2nd, 1852, the New York State Assembly at Albany passed a law incorporating the proprietors. And this law is found at Chapter 139 of the laws of 1852. Okay? And that law contains the powers of governance. Even though it's a quasi-incorporation, it didn't set it out as clearly as the Dongan Patent. It does provide the powers to govern. And it basically affirms our rights to the Dongan Patent. Okay? The trustees, in losing the lawsuit with the proprietors of Montauk, caused the lands covered by the Dongan Patent to be split. All of a sudden, the town trustees and the town government had no control over Montauk. Montauk was separate. With both having equal claim to the provisions in the Dongan Patent, the Montauk trustees, our corporation, has the same claim as the town trustees, but over Montauk. Okay. At that point, Montauk was no longer a part of the town of East Hampton. As of 1852, Montauk was not part of the town of East Hampton under the law, even though the incorporation seems to say that it is. And it cannot be considered a subdivision of the town of East Hampton because they split the land, and must be accorded the rights of a township under a colonial charter which is attached to and runs with the land. Okay, I see no other way in which this history can be construed at law, and I believe this to be a fundamental right procured to us by our predecessors, and a right which is protected under our state and national constitutions. Okay, I'm running short on time, so I'm gonna skip some of this other stuff, talk about the history of what happened under the Bensons, the fact that the Bensons left the reservations to the same interested parties, which would be the proprietors of Montauk. We just finished that case. I talked to you last week about that. Those properties, the Benson Reservation properties, about 200 acres of land, many miles of roadways, all beautiful properties, are basically trustee properties. They're municipal properties of a trustee corporation, and we've had those rights reaffirmed. I've reestablished the corporations under the law. And one of the things that everyone needs to be aware of also, and this is a Declaration of Rights and Trusteeship. And this document has been served on the town, the county, and this is stamped by Fred Thiel, the New York State Assembly. And what this is called, it's a Declaration of Rights and Trusteeship, and it was adopted at a meeting of the membership of Montauk Friends of Olmsted Parks. And at the conclusion, it lays out the facts and the history of our rights, etc. And then at the bottom it says, "It is herewith and hereby declared that the Montauk Friends of Olmsted Parks Corporation, as the not-for-profit reincorporation of the proprietors of Montauk, assumes any and all rights, title, privileges, responsibilities, or powers established in law under Chapter 139 of the laws of 1852, and that notice of this declaration shall be provided to all town, county, state authorities, and to Montauk proprietors of record." Okay, I haven't had the money to send it to all the landowners yet, but I'm going to get it there. The town, the county, and the state have all been noticed. Okay, Chapter 139 of the laws of 1852 was not found to vest title. Dong and Patton, however, did. And the same rights over the foreshores, harbors, and bottomlands the town trustees claim, we can also claim in Montauk. And we should. We should have home rule. They should be our properties. They are our properties. They're our legally our properties. Okay. I think because this is only a half-hour show, and I'm running out of time, okay, we know about the Benson Reservation lawsuit. I've told you about the notice of the town of our assumption of corporate rights. Okay, I'm also in front of the Internal Revenue Service, and I've discovered that the not-for-profit corporation cannot, under the law, assert all these rights. We're going to need two corporations, one not-for-profit, one municipal. I've got a design for that, and I'd like to talk to you about that. Okay, so what am I doing for you, the community? Understanding all this and having fought the Benson Reservation lawsuit and being fully aware of these rights, I've been attempting to protect your rights, the community's rights. Okay, I'm not attempting to take control or establish a new government, really. I'm just attempting to protect what is rightfully ours so that we can look at it, study it, and figure out what we want to do with it. I'm attempting to protect our rights, your rights. I think they can be a beautiful thing. They're historic. They're very good. So I'm going to end with this one paragraph, which I used in the introduction to the District Director of the Internal Revenue Service in the application for not-for-profit status for the Montauk Friends of Olmsted Parks. I am making my best effort to ensure that the tax-exempt corporate rights of the Montauk community are properly and effectively enabled and established to the fullest extent available under the laws of both the State of New York and the United States of America. The community is in desperate need of unity and focus on issues of common welfare, and it is hoped that through our efforts we can fashion a lawful civic association which protects, conserves, and improves the management of our lands and our resources for ourselves, our children, and for our guests. God bless. Thank you and good night.
Please take away this thorn from her side. It's our children who will care. It's our